I'm Mark Sponsler from StormSurf.com, and here's the surf forecast for the Hawaiian Islands for the week starting Friday, September 2nd. Brought to you by your surf authority, expert advice, and friendly staff, Hawaiian South Shore. Be sure and hit the like and subscribe button. You get automatic notifications when the videos post, typically on Fridays. All right, let's get to work. We start by looking at surf on the South Shore from the Barber's Point buoy. This buoy picks up all the energy in the ocean, and from it you can extrapolate wave heights. So looking at raw data, this is all the periods available from anywhere up to 33-second period. That's really long, very energetic swell, all the way down to 5-second period wind chop. We see a little bit of energy and it's scattered between the 16 to 17 second range, all the way down to 5 seconds. A little bump here right about 13 seconds. That tells us that the primary swell is 1.5 feet at 13.2 seconds from 177 degrees. That'd be about 2 foot Hawaiian, or maybe 4 foot on the face. But actually looking at the waves, it's waist high, maybe if you stretch it chest high on the biggest sets, on the biggest peaks. And there's some secondary energy at 1.7 feet at 9.6 seconds, so somewhere right around in here, and that makes about sense. Basically wind swell coming from the south, about 1.5 feet, so maybe waist high. The combination of those two is what's making small, fun, rideable surf with decent conditions, but nothing too powerful, something to go out and build skill on. All right, let's continue. So where did this surf come from, and where is there more surf coming in the immediate future? So we're going back in time to Friday, the 26th of August. Here is New Zealand. Here is the Ross Ice Shelf, ice off of Antarctica. This is Antarctica here. Of course, Australia here, Chile and Peru over here. It is this area right here that we're interested. Hawaii is about 158 west, so right about there. And this is significant wave height data. This is the raw seas generated by storms in the roaring 40s. 40 degrees really is up here, so it's actually deeper than that. But you get the general idea. Storms in this area produce wind aimed to the north that generate seas, and those seas travel north, eventually turning into swell and hitting Hawaii. So on Friday, there was a little gale with 28-foot seas, just barely in the Hawaiian swell window. And then later on Friday, a secondary gale developed with 26-foot seas, and that continued into Saturday, pushing east while fading, and then building again as we got into Sunday. But by then, this system was pretty much east of the Hawaiian swell window. Nice 30-foot seas, but again, east of the Hawaiian swell window. Anything that's east of about here, that's 158, is outside the Hawaiian swell window. So now we're just looking at what happened over the past week. But the point is, swell from these previous two little systems right in here is radiating north. Some of it is hitting right now, and more of it is expected to hit in the coming days. We'll get into the details in just a second. Continuing out through the rest of last week, another little gale tried to develop, but it was falling southeast, of no particular interest, and yet another falling southeast, no energy aimed north of the Hawaiian Islands. And then, and then things quieted down. So what does all this mean? Well, on Saturday, background southern hemiswell from those little systems that were way deep down in the southwest Pacific are supposed to start hitting, with pure swell, 1.2 feet at 16 seconds later in the day. That's good for 1.5 to 2 foot surf. Hawaiian, double that for face size, so waist to chest high. More of that swell continues, with the period fading just a little bit on Sunday, same size surf. Then that swell slowly starts petering down as we get into Monday, with pure swell 1.2 feet at 13 to 14 seconds early, so maybe waist high, and even smaller on Tuesday, or less powerful at least. We'll say thigh to waist high, something like that. Then things really settle down on Wednesday and Thursday. But not to be dismayed, something better is lurking. Let's get into that now. So we're looking for the future, at the future. Remember, it takes about a week from storms in the deep southwest Pacific to make it up to Hawaii. So let's look forward. All right, we're going to start at the jet stream level. This chart is winds up about 30,000 feet. The jet stream level. The jet stream helps support gale development if it forms into a trough like this, a push in the jet to the north. That helps create a clockwise flow aloft and down at the ocean surface. That's the hallmark of low pressure. Low pressure, if it's strong enough, generates winds. Winds, if they're strong enough, get traction on the ocean surface and generate seas, and then they start radiating north. They sort of clean themselves up, eventually turning into swell. Swell, when it hits your beach, turns into surf. The key is we're looking for a trough, and there is a very nicely defined trough forecast developing on Saturday, the 3rd of September, being fed by 150-knot winds pushing to the north. That will get that upper level clockwise flow going good, and also down at the surface. That trough continues, or is forecast to continue pushing east into Sunday and even into Monday before it sort of fades out. So a great opportunity there, we'll say Saturday, Sunday, maybe even into Monday, to support gale development. But then after that, the jet splits again, and you get this high pressure that builds in between the two split jet stream flows. That does nothing for producing meaningful swell. And the southern branch, that's the one that really matters, is literally over Antarctic ice. The ice line's right here about 62 south. It's the peak of winter in the southern hemisphere, if not a little bit beyond that. So the ice line keeps building to the north as winter builds, and it decreases the surface area available for storms to get traction. Then as we get into Thursday and Friday, a ridge builds, that is, this high pressure area builds south of New Zealand, doing nothing to support gale development. And then by a week from now, still no hope. All right, let's go take a look down at the surface. So here we are, surface level pressure, surface level winds on Friday, September 2nd. We know there's a trough forecast developing pretty soon, like in the next 24 hours, south of New Zealand. Here we go, Saturday, September 3rd. Here we go, a gale with 40, almost 45-knot winds, but New Zealand is in the way as it first forms. But as soon as we get into Saturday night, early Sunday, look at this, a broad area of 35, 40, 45-knot winds from, well, the ice line starts about 62, and this goes up to about 42, so 600 nautical miles for every 10 degrees, so 1,200 miles of fetch aimed north at the Hawaiian Islands. That certainly is a good opportunity for producing seas and therefore swell. That continues as we go through the day, Sunday, and then fading out on Monday. Looking out beyond that, we already know from looking at the jet stream level chart, there's probably no real fetch aimed off to the north. That is, winds aimed to the north. We see this, a gale on Wednesday into Thursday, but the ice line again is at 62 south, and it's all aimed off to the east. So no swell production potential there, and that pattern pretty much continues for the remainder of the model run out 1 week. And then finally, the effect of those winds on the ocean surface, significant wave heights. This is the raw seas that ultimately produce swell, and this is the main factor. This is everything that matters. The jet stream is the teaser. The surface level winds give you a good indication that seas are being generated, but this is the actual, or at least the forecast for seas. And as we get into Saturday night, here we go, 32.2 foot seas. See where the little plus and X there? That's the highest seas over this entire model in the Hawaiian swell window, pushing off to the northeast, continuing at 31 feet into Sunday morning, and then rebuilding a little bit further south at about 32 feet on Sunday evening, continuing, and then fading Monday morning from about 28 to 30 feet. So what is that, about 48 hours or more, maybe even 60 hours of seas aimed well at the Hawaiian Islands. Then the whole system pushes east and fades out. So a good bit of swell possible from that. Now another gale, we saw that forecast, barely in the Hawaiian swell window, mostly aimed off to the east, maybe some background swell to result, but we're not going to get too excited about that just yet. So, for the immediate future, like this weekend, small, fun rideable surf looks possible, and continuing almost to the middle of the week. Nothing huge, good for building skill, good for longboard, good for a soft top, take the family out, whatever. Go have fun, enjoy the water, enjoy the summer while you have it. That continues into midweek, then fades out. But looking at the models, a solid late-season storm is forecast south of New Zealand, giving it about a week travel time, so maybe a week from now, that swell will arrive. The storm hasn't actually formed yet, but all odds are it's going to happen, and there will be swell of a little bit larger size and requiring a little bit more skill. So be careful when and if this swell arrives. We'll update you next week in the forecast on Friday. That certainly will be right before the swell arrives, so we'll have details then. All right, again, smash the like and subscribe button. We'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. Thanks for watching.